Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this chilly day here in Lexington, Kentucky. If you are not in Lexington and you're in Kentucky in general, you know it's cold out there. But thank you for joining us for this On the Table webinar regarding nonprofits and what this On the Table initiative can do for you and will do for the community and the people that you serve. And if you've never participated before, that's great. We're so glad that you're interested. If you have participated before, this will discuss a little bit about what this particular On the Table, this is our third year, is going to be about and how you can use this information and this idea to further discussions on how to make your nonprofit a great place and serving as many people as possible. So again, thank you. If you have any questions, you may type them in into the question box. Feel free to type any questions that you have, and I will try to answer them as we go along. But let's go ahead and get started. So what is On the Table? It is a one-day community engagement initiative that begins this year. It will happen on March 27th, 2018. It will include Lexington and surrounding areas when community-wide conversations. And what it basically is, for those of you who don't know, it's an opportunity to talk about issues that are big and small, that impact the quality of life in Lexington and across the Bluegrass. It is a community engagement event that happens not only here in Lexington, Fayette County, but also in the surrounding area, in the region, where conversations will not only further the work that we do here at Bluegrass Community Foundation, but also inform community leaders, decision makers, everything from the media to community helpers like police officers and firemen, to city council members or people who make decisions across the state. The organic conversations and genuine community engagement from diverse voices throughout the region is the idea to enhance the vision for the future for all residents here in this area. So really what it is most people sit down at a table of 8 to 12 people. Now, of course, you can have multiple tables in your organization. We'll talk about some examples of what organizations have done in the past, but everyone is invited to host or to attend, and we'll talk about what that means here in just a moment. My slide will advance. Of course not. So here is a quick little video just to watch, get an idea of what On the Table was like last year.
On the Table is a community event. It's a wonderful way to come together and share ideas of what we can do to improve our town. I think the best way to explain it is this is democracy at its best.
We're glad to have our community residents coming out and just sitting around the table, fellowshipping, not only fellowshipping, also sharing what can we do to make matters better and life better in our community.
We need to be talking to our neighbors, counties to our north, south, east, and west, and that we need to be talking with our own neighbors in different neighborhoods across our community.
On the Table has given Frankfort and Franklin County an opportunity to get folks together to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, where the community needs to go and how they're going to get there.
The conversations on the table, they mean a lot to me because I'm new to this community. By having these conversations and listening to these conversations, it's helping me to understand that programs like we talk about it and it's getting them out there, but what can we do here as a city? Start getting that word out there and making it stronger. What you think?
And so that's what inspires me, you know. If I'm not relevant to you, I'm gonna be relevant. Our goal as Union being a partner here is to increase that civic engagement, and we want to make information easily available to people and show people that it can be easy to engage civically, how important that it is and how you can affect change.
It offers a
an opportunity to have discussions, but also prescribe solutions to certain situations. We talked a lot about what inspired us in our communities, but we talked about the elephants in the room and some of the things that hold communities back.
We don't have all the answers, but I think that most of the folks can walk away from here today taking the steps that need to begin the process to work for those solutions.
On the table to me is just a really exciting way for people to get together that may have never gotten together before. It's a chance to hear ideas from other people that you maybe would have never met and just potentially see your idea come to light, which is really exciting.
The idea is that we have quality conversations. I don't know if the quantity even matters. Maybe really listening to a story, connecting with that person in a way that you didn't expect to, and then possibly moving forward to change for the better. I really do think it's all about that.
So that was a little glimpse of last year and what that was like. But why on the table? Why should you participate? Why should your organization participate? This year, the conversation is going to focus on fostering more belonging in our cities and communities. The idea is that everybody can come together, share and discuss ideas, but more importantly, the idea is to build an action list to create a more welcoming and inclusive community. So last year, one of the top topics in the past 2 years, actually, that Bluegrass Community Foundation has hosted on the table, the annual survey of participants has indicated that equity and social inclusion and race relations are key topics of interest among the community. And because the Community Foundation is dedicated to making the Bluegrass more generous and welcoming for all, the idea is that we are looking to respond to that feedback. What does that look like? And your organizations are invaluable in helping people understand that and bringing as many diverse voices to the table as possible. So they're meant to do that. The idea is that it's who we are, where we're going, and how we can get there together. And especially now and in certain times, we know that it is very important to have these conversations and to have them in a very meaningful way. And this is a great way to do that. And the goal is to discover basically how do we make a difference? How do thousands of people and organizations that make communities a better place for everyone, how can they work together to explore how we can foster increased belonging in our, and so that's what we're looking to do. And we want you to participate because you have access to lots of people and conversations that may not always have their voices heard. So it's very important to have these conversations with the folks that you touch every day. So again, it's Wednesday, March 27th. Now, all the excitement happens on that day, but you don't have to have it on that day. If you have a standing meeting or some kind of event that is around that time, that works as well. And you can still participate if that would be a better and more accessible way to make it happen for you. But all the excitement kind of does happen on that day because, for example, last year, 13,000 people came together on March 27th. But there were lots of conversations that happened outside of that time as well. So it's got a lot of flexibility. So don't be locked in if that's not a very convenient day. You can certainly do it on a different time. And of course, my slides are going slowly. When? So we prefer mealtime conversations, but it's completely up to you. A mealtime conversation could be at breakfast, it could be at lunch, it could be around a pitcher of water. Just where you're sitting down and having a face-to-face conversation is ideal. And people have better conversations when they're sitting across from somebody sharing food. What does that look like? For the most part, it's very simple and up to your organization. You can do this just about anywhere. You can do it in homes. You can do it in restaurants, schools, public spaces, places of worship, offices. It really doesn't matter. It can be outside, in a park. It can be on street corners. It has happened in so many different ways, and it really doesn't matter. It's not built on the concept that it's very specific, that you have to do it a certain way at all. And what should you serve? If you're going to serve food, it doesn't really matter. You can have everything from a sack lunch. People just bring their own stuff. You can have just coffee and plate of cookies or a pitcher of iced tea. If it's going, you want to hold it at a place where there's food. And most organizations, as we well know, don't necessarily have the means to provide a great deal of food for a large group of people. That is totally fine. It doesn't require that. So if you wanted to do a potluck, we've had organizations that do sort of a potluck kind of event that has been very effective in the past. We've also had organizations that just provided a couple things of cookies and some waters and just had conversation over that. So it really doesn't matter. You don't have to serve, full meals or anything like that. It's not required. It's maximum flexibility, as I like to keep saying. So what do you do? Like we said, this year the conversations are going to focus on fostering more belonging in the city. So the idea is that you will get a toolkit, and in that toolkit there will be everything that you would possibly need to have a successful conversation. This is the type of situation where you don't necessarily need facilitators at every single table. It's not required that way. You can literally put a toolkit in front of anyone. They're also printable online, so you can have PDF forms of these, and you can sit it in front of any sort of like a table leader, and they will help facilitate the conversation just based on some very simple things. There will be conversation prompts. You don't have to talk about those things, but they do help get the conversation going. It's not required. If you have things you want to talk about that are very specific to your organization, feel free to do that. One of the things that sometimes people have a hard time understanding about on the table is that there really aren't a ton of rules around the concept. The concept is really to just have a great conversation and to inspire it by using the on-the-table format. And that's really kind of what it is. There are lots of ways to look at what we have in the way of tools by checking out online. That website will come up again here in a moment, but it is www.bgcf.org, and you can check it out there. There's a box right when you get to the website. So why are you so important? Why is your organization important to us? Last year, 13,000 participants came together. We want to hear every voice. Youth, there's a youth toolkit for young people. If you work with a lot of young people, you can absolutely have these conversations. And they are done in such a way, each one of those conversation prompts and guidelines are based on the concept of the age that you're working with. If it's adults, that's fine as well. The materials do come in Spanish and in English, so if you want to utilize that, so do the surveys. That's a great way to look at it too. And we really know that this has informed in the past the government. It has informed nonprofits on how they would like to move forward in the future, what this looks like, especially when they've invited the public in, if that was part of their mission to really have a conversation about their nonprofit. The press, very important to have the press know what matters to a community. Any of our partners, and we are partnering with the City of Lexington, University of Kentucky, Transylvania University, Fayette County Public Schools, Clark County Public Schools. There's a lot of people at the table who really want to hear what folks have to say. And basically, anyone who wishes to utilize the information, we put out a really great report, and you can use that at the end to really garner some great information about how things will work. It also helps us inform our constituents, the people that are looking to give back to their communities, what's mattering to the community. And it's really the power of community connection. Your voice matters, but what you do matters more. So that's what we want to present. So the ways to participate. You can be a superhost, a host, or just a guest, or you can join an open conversation at any Lexington Public Library. Every location in Lexington has public conversations available. In addition to that, if you are in Fayette County, every public library has space reserved that day for free. If you don't want to have a conversation at your office or in your area, you can utilize their meeting spaces for free. And all you have to do is simply call and ask to reserve space during that time. Every single location has availability there. But to be a superhost, what does that mean? That means that you're looking to host or attempting to try to host 10 tables or more. And how can this happen in your organization? Well, you could simply have every one of your board members and everyone on your staff host a table in their home. that automatically would, if it gets up to 10, would make you a super host. You could have it at your nonprofit, and you could have a group in the morning, you could have a group in the afternoon, a group in the evening, and if it adds up to 10 tables, or at least attempting to try to fill those 10 tables, you can be a superhost. If you wish to be a superhost, you simply need to call Bluegrass Community Foundation and say, I want to be a superhost, and we can register you for that. At that time, you will have your logo be listed in our superhost list on our website. So if you would like that, that is something you can do and consider. You can also just host whatever tables you feel comfortable, and that's very easy to do, and we'll talk about registration here in a moment. And also, you can have your guests register as well, which helps us get the survey out to everybody at the end, and it's very easily done on our website. There's no participation fee. This is completely free. All the materials are free. If you choose to do anything that costs anything, that's completely up to you. You don't have to by any means. The idea is that this is something you can do together. So in the picture on there, for example, that was done at an organization here in Fayette County, and they simply had some water and they had a potluck, and the materials that you see them working with there were all provided by Bluegrass Community Foundation. So you can have a host toolkit. There's also a family toolkit if you're going to talk to adults and young people at the same time. Everything is in English and Spanish. There's a fact sheet in English and Spanish that you can utilize. Also, there's a brief which has language that you could copy and paste very easily in like an email or something along that line. Also, all available online, and they're available right now, so you can use them, except for the toolkits. Those are coming out shortly. So how do you register? You simply go to www.bgcf.org/on-the-table, and you click the highlighted area that you see there to register. And the form is very, very easy. If you fill out I'm a host, and you put in there hosting more than one table, how many. If you want to say I'm going to try to host 10 tables, that is great, and we would be more than happy to then give you a call and look at you as a superhost. You can also call us, and that will help determine superhost status if you so choose. And it's just a very simple form, and you click submit at the bottom of it. If you have any questions, certainly you can go, there's the website, the www.bgcf.org/on-the-table. You can also call us if you would like, or you can email us at onthetable@bgcf.org, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Really, the thing I just want to get across is that we know that understanding equity and social inclusion and race are really broad issues. They span everything from pay equity to historical oppression. And the idea is we really want to talk about how your community can foster belonging. What does that look like? And it's so important to nonprofits. And because research shows that cities reap numerous benefits, social, economic, environmental benefits when community members feel a deep sense of attachment to that community. And that means everybody that is there. And so I just really want you all to know that we find you invaluable for this information. Bluegrass Community Foundation is one of 10 community foundations across the U.S. participating in On the Table this year. It is a national initiative. It is funded by the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, and like we said, it started in 2017, but it's actually a replica of an annual civic engagement initiative of the same name that was developed by the Chicago Community Trust in 2014. And it has done a lot to make things different. One of the most people always want to ask me, what has this done, for things? Well, it did affect in 2017 the Imagine Lexington, which is the comprehensive plan for the city of Lexington, and it did affect how people felt about the urban services boundary, and it did affect the city council vote. That is a large example of that. But it also did all kinds of things on a very grassroots level. It changed how some nonprofits were actually reaching out to their donors. What did that look like? It also changed things on an even super detailed level, like streets that figured out that they all needed to come together and get a snowblower so that they could all use it. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's just how do you make a more inclusive and welcoming city. So we hope you join us. If you have any questions, feel free to put them into the box. I've answered a few of them that have come up as we were going along, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. And we thank you for listening, and we hope you will join us on the Table on March 27th, 2019. We hope to see you there.